The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, inravio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is inravio.com. inravio.com.
Everybody. That was never intended to be our opening title sequence, but now it is. I am Dave Campfield. I am the host of Nerdgasm. And to my left is Matt Martin. Well, actually, Matt's not here yet. Matt is tonight in the control booth, as he always is. He will later tonight be our guest because we have a special segment with Matt Martin discussing his prolific career and, most notably, Devil Wears Prada. But this is our summer movie edition, and tonight we are joined by the lovely JoJo, aka Lady Macbeth, and to her right is Maleficent, also known as Adriana Amaya.
In the flesh.
Yeah. So, girls, what have you been up to today?
Just lounging about, relaxing.
Getting ready for the show, obviously, preparing.
Of course,
right.
You know. Preparing mentally, physically.
Yeah. Okay, and how about you, lovely JoJo? Where you just, you seem to be juggling only a few thousand things.
Well, I was washing my hair for like 7 hours.
I see. Seems like it didn't end up the way that you anticipated.
No.
So today I was authoring President Wolfman. That was my day job today, working on a movie about a president of the United States who's a wolfman coming to DVD. So like how when you put in a DVD, the menus come up. The movie comes up. You have the choice of buttons. That's my day job at times. I create and I author the DVDs of some of which you see. So we are going to be getting into Summer Movies Volume 2. If you watched a couple weeks ago, we reviewed 3 summer movies. Tonight we're reviewing another 3 and Devil Wears Prada. So before we go any further, we are going to delve into tonight's news. I am undecided which news girl I'm going to give this to. We have 2 news girls who are both very lovely. So I'm going to give news story number 1 to Adriana.
Okay.
Who I gave no prior warning to. I'm just telling her this now for the first time. So let's get your cold read on news story 1.
Sure. All right. Star Wars Museum to be built in Chicago. Ooh. According to the Associated Press, Star Wars creator George Lucas has selected Chicago to build his Museum of Art and Movie Memorabilia. This is a major victory for Chicago, which was competing with San Francisco for the museum.
So there's a museum. George Lucas, pretty much the richest filmmaker in the world, and in many respects, an extremely talented filmmaker. Despite his shortcomings, is going to be opening up a museum. They say it's a Star Wars museum, but I think Lucas claims it's just a film history museum. So we're going to find out if it's basically you walk in and it's Death Star and Endor and all of that stuff, or if it's going to be just a history of film. Lucas is a big appreciator and aficionado of film. That was his love, and I'm undecided which one I would like better. Either way, I'm going.
It sounds awesome. I went to a Star Wars museum in St. Martin, I believe. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's this little hole-in-the-wall place where you walk in and they have all these face plaster. When they create a latex and they take it off your face, they have half the cast from Star Wars, and I met the creator of Yoda. I forgot his name, but it was just such a cool little experience and so unexpected.
Stuart Freeborn?
No, I don't think it was him, but he...
Adriana, were these people being on the level with you? It's like, yeah, I created Yoda. What's your number, baby?
No, this guy was serious. And I looked him up later, and he was, in fact, the creator of the animatronic Yoda. I forgot his name.
Oh, okay,
but...
so more of the recent guys, the prequel guys.
Well, the originals were puppets.
The originals were puppets, the new ones were CGI. So, news story number 2, which also deals with Star Wars, because I run this show, and my choice of nerd news is Star Wars news.
Looper and Brick, written director Rian Johnson, is set to both pen and direct Star Wars Episode 8? No, what is this?
It's really 7.
7?
No, 8. 8.
Yeah, 8. And to write a treatment for Star Wars Episode 9. Johnson also would essentially take over from J.J. Abrams, who is currently helming Star Wars Episode 7, and is laying the foundation for the new trilogy. It's also not clear, but almost a certainty, that Abrams will remain on board as a producer for the other 2 films in the trilogy.
So yeah, we have the director of Looper and the director of Brick, who's now hired to follow in the footsteps of J.J. Abrams, who's making Star Wars Episode 7. No one really knows when Star Wars Episode 7 is coming out. Harrison Ford broke his leg. You know, like when an actor gets told to break his leg, he took it a little too literally. So that's, I mean, since Han Solo was such a pivotal part of Star Wars Episode 7, allegedly, it's throwing off the whole timeline. We don't know if it's coming out in December of 2015 or if they're going to have to delay it now to the traditional Star Wars month of May. And Disney's planning on releasing a new Star Wars film every month. I mean, every year. That would be bad. A new Star Wars film every year.
Hard to say.
I don't know how they're going to do it every month. And so we're going to see how that progresses. But they have a very interesting choice of directors. You know, they clearly care about it as much as the rest of us do. Have you seen Looper?
I did see Looper, yeah. I liked it.
Looper's like, I mean, it's a brave film. It's a little sickening in some respects. It's a little twisted. But, you know, it's a bold filmmaker. And, you know, you gotta admire that, you know, a choice like that. You know, and I hope they keep choosing new people. When they choose Star Wars Episode 8, when they choose Star Wars Episode 9, it's another director along the same lines. You know, yet a Del Toro or somebody of that caliber. You know, someone who grew up in Star Wars like so many of us did, and they put their own, you know, strong stamp on it. But you happen to know that, you know, Star Wars Episode 9 is not the end of it. There's supposed to be 2 proposed trilogies. How long of a break there'll be between Star Wars Episode 9 and then 10, 11, 12 is anybody's guess.
That's a lot of trilogies.
It is. Also, by the way, Shane Black.
Long nerd lines at the Star Wars movie theater.
It's still going to be less hours than all the Harry Potter films combined, though.
Boy.
We have...
You got your camping gear ready?
you're going to go online next week, even though there's no release date for it yet. There's also news that Predator is going to be rebooted, and it's going to be rebooted by the director of Iron Man 3, Shane Black, who incidentally had a part in the original Predator. He was an actor in Predator.
Really?
And now he became a filmmaker, and a very good filmmaker. Did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and now he's going to take over the reins and start from scratch. Who knows who's going to play the Schwarzenegger role? Probably somebody a little less bulky, a little more intellectual, like akin to a Robert Downey Jr. type, I'm assuming.
Okay.
So, we are now going to begin the review portion of our show, and the first review that we have tonight, the first summer movie, which we'll have to throw the graphic up on soon enough, is Malificent. And Malificent is a film that I saw with TheLovelyjojo, because I basically drag her everywhere I go. Look for any excuse to hang out with this wonderful woman.
Attached at the hip.
So now, Maleficent is Sleeping Beauty, is the story of the antagonist of Sleeping Beauty, but with a very different kind of twist. You know?
Yes, it is.
Were you like me, where you confused for part of your childhood Snow White and Sleeping Beauty? Because I did for years. And it's only like a year ago.
No.
I always did, because it seemed like one seems like a bigger version of the other film.
He said that to me, and I was like, no.
Never heard of
Snow
that.
White had like short hair and like the rosy cheeks and was it the blue dress? Right?
Yeah, it was a blue dress.
With the
Okay, so I'm going to make things easy for myself and throw the review off to you girls because I want to hear what you thought. Adriana, what did you think of Maleficent?
She is fresh off of it.
Yeah, well, I dressed for the occasion, as you can see. If I really hated it, I wouldn't look like this. So, no, I definitely enjoyed the film. I was, like, maybe disappointed about one or two things. But, like, for example, we all know the really cool part when she turns into this big, crazy dragon. I was really hoping that Angelina Jolie was gonna do that. You know?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I guess she can turn her bird friend into the dragon. That's okay. All is forgiven. You're still gorgeous and cool. You still got wings, so, you know. But for the most part, I mean, Angelina Jolie was just breathtaking. She was so, like, she was absolutely perfect for this role.
I think her own personal craziness translates and gets channeled into a really good performance.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
she just, like, I mean, we all know she's gorgeous, but she's also just so charismatic on screen. And, you know, you can't help but love her, you know, even if she's the bad guy, you know. But that's always been like that, like, for, like, I mean, Girl Interrupted, or, you know, like, you just love that crazy Angelina. But, I don't know, I really did enjoy it. I think my personal favorite scene was when, you know her daughter was actually in the film? Did you know that?
As the baby. Is that
Yeah,
right?
as, like, young Aurora. Like, when that came on, like, I knew that beforehand because I was, like, waiting, like, months before this film came out. Like, it was a little scary how excited I was. So I go in and I know her daughter's going to be in there somewhere. And when she just came, like, it was so cute. It was so absolutely wonderful. And it was quirky. It was funny, you know?
Is she calling her own daughter Beastie?
I know. I hate you, little beastie. You know, like, it was just great. And then, like, I mean, she just has so many subtle moments that it just, you know, cracks you up.
It's interesting what they did with her cheekbones. I mean, because they really enhanced that to be like the
Yeah, I mean,
animated.
it was all this makeup contour. Like,
Yeah,
here.
prosthetic.
Yeah.
They put like a little tiny like two triangles on her cheeks, and then they like contoured it just a little
I mean,
bit.
you can't really imagine anybody else, you know, in that role. She
No.
sort of fined it.
Or having those kinds of cheekbones, but
that one part at the baby shower where she's like, well.
Yeah.
I was like, she nailed it. She totally nailed it.
I know. And then the curse, like, that was so cool, just to see like that live action Disney moment, you know, and.
Well, I mean, this is the perfect example of hell hath no fury, like a woman scorned.
I know.
And
You
she
trying
had
to tell me
every
something?
right. She had every right to
Sure.
be, you know, in that moment, you know. I mean, how she got her wings cut off without her realizing when she woke
I know.
up. I was like, wait a minute. But she's gonna wake up and she's gonna have no wings. Like, how did that not hurt?
I know. Like, you
hurt?
can't even, like, you just touch me on the finger and I'll be like, oh my God, what's going on?
I mean,
What happened?
I was pleasantly surprised when she was able to get them back attached to her.
that was
but I
a
Are
nice
you going
surprise.
into
also, like,
spoiler
kinda-
territory? Well, it's interesting that the
sorry.
point of the
Yeah.
point of the film is that, you know, bad people have good in them and vice versa. But I think when you make a film about a villain, you have, especially a Disney film, you have to make them sympathetic. And I don't even see her as a villain. They made her so sympathetic.
I know, that's
You know?
that was the second thing I was kind of disappointed about. It was just like, I felt like she was kind of mad for like
For
10
justified
minutes.
reasons. you
Yeah,
know?
you know, and then
Very
she was
justified.
like, now I'm just going to go sit in the woods, kind of being by myself. And then, oh, wow, I like you actually. Okay.
Look, if Cinderella chopped my legs off, there's going to be some hell to pay. You know, and I'm not a villain for doing that. You know?
I mean, I think they kind of they segued it in a way where maybe it looked that way, but I think they had shown some time had passed, like a couple seasons had gone by. I mean, I don't think it was really that quick, but it definitely she could have stewed in that for a very long time. I mean, those wings were really cool.
There was a very interesting justification that they had to the story being different than the Sleeping Beauty that we know.
Well, yeah, they villainized the king.
Not just that, but there's a piece of dialogue that's said by the narrator, Ellie Fanning, this younger sister of Dakota Fanning, which is, not all stories are like you're told. So you might have been told the story, but I'm telling you the right way. You know, and that's an interesting way to take, you know, this creative liberty with the given storyline. And Disney's been very good, I think, at making big spectacle films now. When you think about Pirates of the Caribbean, let's forget about, you know, the second and third installment of that. But they've done a really good job with doing epic movies, and that gives me hope for the continuing. And let's also exclude the Tron sequel. I wasn't too big on that, but I think they put a lot of. They're able to balance character and spectacle a lot. I mean, I would say that I wasn't too crazy about the way that some of the animation and live action characters integrated them, and a lot of the secondary cartoon characters or CGI characters seem a little distracting.
It reminded me a lot of Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland version with all the CGI
but a bit more successful. But you know that Alice in Wonderland is really like one of the top 5 grossing films of all time.
I loved Alice in Wonderland.
Really?
You thought it was the
Well, I don't think
it
was that. I mean, it's when you put it up there with the biggest films of all time, it's shocking to think that of all the Tim Burton films that he did, that was the biggest grossing one.
Really?
I believe so.
I think it was just such a build-up, and there was so many people like just so hungry for it, waiting for that to come out, and it being that, it was pretty spectacular, I thought.
I mean, I enjoyed it, and I'm a sucker for Tim Burton, so, how can you not love it? But that's really surprising.
Yeah. And this, I totally love the costumes. I
Oh my
loved
God,
her
absolutely.
crowns. I'm like, I just want to run home and build a crown.
I know.
like her. I was like,
I am dealing with 2 costume geeks right here. You guys, look at Adriana right here. You really take pride in what you wear, and you wear unique stuff. She made her own Lady Macbeth costume. That was one of the first.
I'm making a new one for
the Yellow Wave Film Festival. So these are costume people, and you notice like all of the nuance and all of the magic in it. Scale of 1 to 10, what do you give Maleficent?
Maleficent, the film itself, or?
No, the character.
Oh, the character?
No.
Oh,
Okay.
God,
The movie
character?
itself, scale of 1 to 10.
Oh, okay. Maybe 7?
So I'm gonna give it a 7.5. How about you, lovely JoJo?
Give it an 8. I liked it.
Yeah, when I left the theater, you're such a mush to see movies with. It's great. No matter what the film is,
I cry.
Whether it's Amazing Spider-Man 2 or The Fault in Our Stars, where the whole point of that film is to try to make women cry.
Oh my God.
I really wanted to see that.
Yeah,
It was really
I saw it
good.
last night.
Yeah.
It's a fun.
Oh, really?
It's a fun game I play. It's called "How Can I Make My Girlfriend Cry?" Take her to that movie.
Well, that's
I
just
want to take you to
terrible.
this romantic movie. Oh, she's got cancer.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that. That's going to be the next edition of Summer Movies. But we're going to I'm going to give the film, 7.5. We got a 7. We got an 8. I think, when we left the theater, you said that I really like this film. It's a great. 2014 has been a pretty spectacular year for.
I've liked everything that we watched this year.
2014 has been, I think, a very good year for blockbusters. Usually don't have this level of consistency. But before we head out to commercial break, I really want to say hello to Paulie C, Lockdown, Timmy Packer, PJG, everybody in the chat room. So come on back. We're going to be heading a commercial. When we do, we're going to talk about Neighbors, How to Train Your Dragon, and some more fun stuff coming your way. Come on back.
Soon.
inravio.com.
Transmission of lice occurs from being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Like catching a cold or a flu.
You have guaranteed peace of mind in every bottle of Got Lice because all of our products are completely natural,
And organic.
but strong enough to cover all your lice removal needs while being safe and effective. Our professional technicians are specially trained with our exclusive proven technique to successfully comb out head lice. We come right to your home at your convenience.
Whenever you want us.
We bring everything needed to perform a successful and complete comb out while eliminating your head lice. And we leave you with our exclusive complimentary products to use for the next 10 days following our treatment.
For free.
Our technicians also check all family members who have been exposed to lice. Please visit us on our website today at gotlice.co or feel free to call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 646-257-0121.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. Brown and the Killing Devils. Alternative progressive rock like you've never heard before. Over 1 million views on YouTube. New York City Village Voice says Paul is a gifted singer, songwriter, and musician with one of the best progressive rock bands on the planet. LA Underground Music Exchange calls him the only modern American band to cover every genre well. Pick up the albums Black Widow Tears, Red Spider, and The Wizard's Dawn, now on iTunes. And get to facebook.com/Killing Devils to keep up with the latest info. inravio.com.
Welcome back to Nerdgasm. I'm here with my spectacular panel right here. Joe Winchell, Peppercorn Montgomery. You can tell it's Peppercorn by the hat itself. So we are now going to be dealing with another summer movie. And this one is called Neighbors. Adriana, what did you think of Neighbors?
I didn't see it.
You stink. I knew that going into this. So Jojo and I actually caught Neighbors a few weeks ago. And I'm having a hard time disliking any film that Seth Rogen is in. Probably if I thought about it, I could probably find one. I didn't get to see Green Hornets. Maybe that would fit into the category. But he's an incredible leading man. By the way, beep, that's a microphone. And so we saw this film together. I haven't really seen Zac Efron in much. And he's a guy like Shia LaBeouf that I think there's a bit of antagonism against him. And you know what? I think he's got very strong potential to be a strong, leading man. Because what is he, in his early 20s?
Yeah, he's 20s.
As fashionable as it would be to kind of jump on the bandwagon and say, okay, this is the guy from High School Musical and all that stuff, I think he has potential. And I think he's actually on the precipice of being cast in a superhero movie. And, so he's going to be the next Green Lantern or whatever. All that's known is that he's going to be chosen as one of the upcoming superheroes, and I'm sure he'll be fine. By the way, Timmy Packer in the chat room says that Joe Winchell and Peppercorn Montgomery look very beautiful tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks, Timmy.
Try really hard.
7 hours.
Where's my whiskey?
It's only beer that Joe drinks live on here.
Pint of beer.
Not just beer. Maybe on camera.
Here's a question. Adriana, you can likewise, join in this conversation. You haven't seen the film. I've seen some criticism on the internet because, what do people do if not criticize other people and movies on the internet? But one of the criticisms I had seen of the movie is that Seth Rogen's wife is too hot for him. And,
that's
and
horrible.
do you know who? And my personal feeling is, okay, Seth Rogen's not Quasimodo. No. Second of all, Seth Rogen is one of the most charming actors I've ever seen. He's hilarious, he's self-deprecating, and if you're a little bit schlubby, if you have that self-deprecating quality, it makes you a lot more lovable than a very vain guy who's always concerned about his hair, and can't poke any fun at himself. I think I've seen couples like that in real life plenty of times. I don't think that there's any, and not to mention that the actress itself doesn't look like a supermodel. She looks like a pretty woman that you might know in your own personal life. Yeah. I think that the chemistry is completely believable. There's other things in that film that you cannot believe. Them being together is not one of them. Did you see the actress, the two of them that he's paired up with?
No, I don't.
Wasn't it the girl from Devil Wears Prada?
No, that's Anne Hathaway, right?
No.
This is, it's the star of, she's the star of Insidious.
Right.
You've seen her.
Yeah.
She's one of
she's the mom in Insidious or something. Her
Right.
son. Oh, that's who it
She's a
is?
good actress. Yeah, I think she's an Australian actress. So this movie was extremely, like Seth Rogen movies, just possibly dialed back a slight notch. I found it extremely funny. It's fast-moving. I'm envious as a writer, as a filmmaker, how they could basically tell a story where nothing really eventful is happening, but it keeps you interested. And what's wonderful as a filmmaker too is that you see the techniques being of suspense that Hitchcock introduced, maybe borrowing from the filmmakers before him, of suspenseful storytelling, and they're able to implement these tools as filmmakers in a comedy like this. It makes the film-going experience that much better. The way that they visually tell the story in places is unique. It's funny. It's not going to be. You could find fault with this film, but in terms of just simple enjoyment of the experience, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. And how about you, Lovely Jojo?
Well, I thought that they kept it very suspenseful, especially with the airbag sequence.
Yeah, there was.
Really
Okay, let's
cool.
not spoil. Let's not spoil that. I mean, yeah, this girl jumps in the scene. Let's just say that there's an extreme. I haven't seen anything like this. There's sequences involving airbags that blow your mind. Almost makes the film worth seeing for that moment alone. There's also a supporting actor in there who's this. He's barely got any dialogue. He's this quiet, soft-spoken character. I'm forgetting his name right now, but this kid, they refer to him as like a young J.J. Abrams. This kid, without even saying many lines, almost steals the scenes that he's in. It's amazing when you can command a scene.
The young frat kid.
Right, the young frat kid. You can command a scene by just sitting there and having an expression on your face. So I'm looking forward to, I bet you he's going to be a breakout star in the upcoming years because he's got a level of intensity. He knows how to use the camera. And it's another recommended film. I feel bad because, in essence, I always tilt my head. So I'm trying to figure out how I don't tilt my head. So I'm giving every film that I've seen this summer, and this is shameful, I'm giving them all good reviews. I have to be saying, well, this film was atrocity. I don't understand how such a film could get made. Still, granted that I haven't seen that many films this summer, but this has been a golden summer, and I think that it's worth going. It's worth going to the theater.
As far as believability, they had the perfect baby in Neighbors. They should have had a halo and little twinkle stars all around this baby because every time they pan on it, she's just like this perfect, happy little baby, and you're like.
That's because I cut out all the crying and screaming between takes.
Babies don't behave that way.
I haven't even seen the film, but I could say babies are making a breakthrough lately in films, like Maleficent too. That baby.
That was a perfect baby.
Precious and just absolutely hilarious.
Babies are amazing when you edit out their bad parts.
I don't know. There was a couple things I really liked. The familiarity between trying to be the cool parents, they've segued into being parents, and now that they don't know what to do, they're bored. And they're like, we're gonna go over there. We're gonna be like, just keep it down. We're cool.
We probably have done a pretty piss poor job of setting up what the story is. Now that you're pointing that out, because the story is about a frat house taking up residence next to the home of this young married couple with a baby, and there's a lot of it's interesting to see the smarts of a comedy like this because there's a lot of it deals with fear of aging. It deals with a lot of deeper subject matter, which is very impressive for a comedy that could have had none of these levels. I think that these successful comedies really have all the underpinnings of greater drama, which this does. I would like to, what are you watching in Control Room? Because I hear it. I hear it, you guys in Control Room.
You watching YouTube videos in there?
Yeah. Our show is not interesting enough for you? How dare you?
That's horrible.
Okay, so now we're going to get into How to Train Your Dragon 2. Let's throw up the logo of How to Train Your Dragon 2. I want it on the screen now. Where is it? There you go. Well, it's not the logo, but that's close.
Okay.
There it is. There it is. So now, we've all seen this film.
Oh, yeah.
And I have so many thoughts, but I don't feel like telling you. That's why I'm going to throw it over to Adriana.
I loved it. The first one, I was in the theater. I can't believe I'm admitting this, but I cried the first film because I love dragons ever since I was a kid. I dreamt of flying and being with dragons, and I'm like, this is my childhood fantasy come to life. And I have these 5-year-olds sitting next to me, and they're just like, oh my God, she's crying. I'm like, oh my God, you don't understand. Give me your gummy bears. I can't take it. It was really humiliating. But I'm proud of that because it was just it's such a fun film, and how can you not love it? You know, it's dragons, and then you're flying on dragons, and then you're fighting with dragons, and then you're cuddling the dragons. It's just, it's like my cup of, it's everything for me.
Yeah. This bastion of courage and emotional fortitude was likewise shedding a bunch of tears during How to Train Your Dragon 2.
It was
quiet.
A film designed for children. And
Oh my
Some
God.
of those are not made for children. Okay, I don't want to.
what is it made for adults?
Well, adults can totally enjoy
No,
this.
it's
so
really
great, yeah.
it's really made for all audiences, you know,
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of it. It's like again, these films in this series, the films that we're talking about tonight, really have so much more depth than films of the genre traditionally do have, and it's interesting that they're words on a page, and yet you get emotionally connected to the characters. You know, I remember there was a story about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs that when they did the first screening for Disney executives in 1936, that they wound up breaking into tears, you know, at the end of it. And the animators, so the director of the film, said to himself, "I can't believe that this is essentially, there's nothing real about this. These are drawings on a page, filmed in the succession." And you relate to it. You know, it has all the underpinnings of every dramatic thing that you feel in your life. But I'm going to burst the bubble on this film a little bit. I love this film, okay?
Gotcha.
That's not the bubble that I'm bursting. But can we talk about the Vikings for real?
Yes.
The Vikings, the stars of this children's film. Get the film out. Enough, Adriana. Camera on me, please. The Vikings. The Vikings.
The monsters.
Get out of here! The Vikings were a people known for conquering. This is the central protagonist. You know, what's his name? What's the name of that
The
skinny
guy.
actor? But he's in. You know, he's always playing the tall, skinny nerd.
Yeah, this is the end. He was in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know why I can't think of his darn name. So, the actual Vikings themselves, known as marauders, as conquerors, as killers, who would conquer a people, rape the women, and just kill the men and create the shapes of eagles from their entrails. They would pillage monks. Monks plunder. Basically, monks who didn't believe in violence, who had no weapons, they would break into the monasteries, kill them, take their plunder. The Vikings, for all intents and purposes, were the epitome of evil. That's just at least what I'm gathering from the history books. But DreamWorks manages to do a very good job sanitizing these people that plundered, killed, raped, murdered, all of the above for a kids' movie. But I guess that version would suck. You know, Dad, you really shouldn't kill all those people and create eagles from their entrails. You know, so.
It's a very interesting impression.
But okay, that aside, you know, you get it. It's a great story. It does take place in a kind of heightened fantasy world. And I'm going to give this film, I'm undecided which summer film I enjoyed better. Is it, oh, by the way, Timmy Backer says, I must admit, Adriana has intriguing eyes.
Oh, thank you. What's his name?
Timmy Packer. He's available.
Thank you,
I think you have to fly out to Indiana or I don't know where he's from to go see him. He's waiting for you.
Okay. We'll play patty cake.
Long distance. You do patty cake right into the screen right here. Timmy, put your hands up against the screen. Patty cake. So I do. I know I say so. I say so too much. It's my segue into it. Now, what is everybody giving this film on a scale of 1 to 10? I want to hear.
It's a 10,
No.
obviously.
We're going to get to that.
It's a
We're going to
10.
get to that.
It's a 10, obviously.
10? You're going to give it a 10?
Yeah, 10.
Okay, so give us what you give it on a scale of 1 to 10 and more of your thoughts on what you like about the film. Or dislike or hate.
I would say probably like a 9. It was really great. I love how these films, they really embody like the familiarity of just normal life. You know, when you scratch your cat like right between the shoulder blades, and with Toothless, they had kind of pressed this little part where his new fins came out, and he was like, "Yay!"
And I was so excited.
He was so excited.
And then he had blue fire.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere. Blue. I'm like, what's that? glowing light from the glacier. I'm like, oh my God, he's blue! And now they have a whole new franchise. They're gonna have glow toothless dolls, and I'm gonna get it. So
They had like the little kids with their, I call them Pokemon cards, where they had like the dragon cards. This is what his name is, and this is what he does, and this is what he looks like.
yeah.
You know, I love the outfits. I love the cat lady. You know, where the little baby dragons were on this one lady,
Oh my God,
and she was
yeah.
like, meow, you know.
It was so cute.
When Toothless like got his tongue stuck on the ice, you know, just like
I
little
loved
things
his
like
mother.
that.
She was so like,
Yeah, so it's a wonderful new character. I mean, a lot of
That
people
is
have been
nice.
likening this to The Empire Strikes Back and the How to Train Your Dragon series. I loved How to Train Your Dragon. I love this film possibly even more.
The faces though, from human to human, were very inconsistent. Like the mother looked normal, and then the father is this
Had a really
big,
small
huge face, you
Yeah.
know, and all this hair. And
but I forgive it because it's voiced by Gerard Butler. Who, if you're
what is
watching
it, Rounds?
this.
He's doing that better
no,
gesture.
but the best part was when one of the little girls is just honing in on her crush with the muscles and the
Oh my
slow
God.
frame by frame.
I didn't know
where
how
she's
to
like,
take it.
Oh,
It
mama.
is a very daring.
You did it twice. I'm sorry, I put it in my
It's a
notes.
very daring for a kids movie, and it is hilarious.
It is hilarious. But I didn't know how to feel. Like I genuinely was like, kids are watching this. They're gonna look at that and be like, Mommy, why are we looking at the man's arm like popping out like that and sweating?
Well, it's because he's
Why
not
does the
interested
girl
in
have
her.
her eyes look like this?
Right. Because he's not interested in her return, it sort of makes it a little more palatable. You know, like if he was sort of like coming on to her and it became this big tawdry subplot, that'd be a problem.
Yeah, but the whole time he was like, "Ew, get away from me."
It was funny. That character looked a lot like my boyfriend. I was kind of like, I feel really uncomfortable. It needs to go away. There are children here. Anyway.
So what are you
That's
giving
all I
it?
have, pretty much.
What are
on
you
it.
giving it on a scale of 1 to 10?
I was giving it a 9.
9? Okay, I have short-term memory. I'm going to say that every year that I see a new CGI movie, the quality of the graphics improves and improves and improves. It's amazing the evolution from like 10 years ago, like Toy Story. Every time, like, there's always more detail to the surfaces, and there's always that next step of evolution with these CGI movies. And I'm blown away when I'm looking at some of the artistry that's applied
Like
to it.
the fur, the hair, the leather,
Right.
the studding, all the
Yeah, that's really
little
amazing
details
stuff.
are really
They're always
great.
trying to top each other, and fortunately, they have the story to back it up. I mean, there's a lot of in all the films that we talk about tonight. There's depth to all of them, and it's admirable that these screenplays aren't cobbled together. There's a lot of heart and passion and soul put into this. Okay, we are going to be taking another commercial break. When we come back, everybody's going to be tuned in because we are going to be interviewing Matt Martin, who will then be also leading a special guest review of one of his favorite film, of one of these two ladies' favorite films. So expect a passionate debate, which I will offer nothing to. So come on back. See you right after a commercial break.
inravio.com. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, inravio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is inravio.com. Paul Brown and the Killing Devils. Alternative progressive rock like you've never heard before. Over 1 million views on YouTube. New York City Village Voice says Paul is a gifted singer, songwriter, and musician with one of the best progressive rock bands on the planet. LA Underground Music Exchange calls him the only modern American band to cover every genre well. Pick up the albums Black Widow Tears, Red Spider, and The Wizard's Dawn, now on iTunes. And get to facebook.com/Killing Devils to keep up with the latest info. over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. inravio.com.
Welcome back, and we've got, for the first time on our program, Matt Martin.
Jazz hands, everybody. Jazz hands.
Matt Martin has been in that control room for the whole run of Nerdgasm. I think he might have not directed one episode. Oh my God, Matt, who's in the control room right now?
It's on autopilot.
So, and Matt is the host of another show on this network, inravio.com, and that is...
In or out, pun intended.
In or out, pun intended. These just two separate shows or one show?
One show.
One show, in and out, pun intended.
In or out. If it's in and out, it'd be rated X.
Oh my gosh.
Pun intended.
Right. Now, what is the concept of your show?
It's all celebrity driven. It's basically things that are in trend and celebrities that do things that are out of trend, which I have a weekly segment called Out Hole of the Week. So if a celebrity did something really ostentatious or really stupid or out of control, I call them out on it.
Okay. Now, what time is the show? I know you have a summer
we're
break,
off for the
right?
summer.
It's a summer break.
So my season 3 premiere is in September, so stay tuned.
All right. Who's the biggest celebrity you ever had on your show?
The biggest?
Yeah.
I'm all grateful to every single one of my guests.
Who's the one that
John
made the most-
Hamm. John Hamm was a big name.
John Hamm was an actual
Guest.
John Hamm was a guest on your show.
He was, he did, what was the $1 Million Arm for Disney, came out May 16th.
John Hamm was on your show.
Yes. Watch it
I'm
in the
stuck with these two
archive,
suckers.
Dave.
We're stuck with you.
Watch it in the archive, Dave.
Okay, well, that's the first thing. I'm kidding. Do you forgive me?
We'll talk about it later.
So now, Matt, we have a special question of the week. Let's throw on the question of the week logo on the screen.
She'll get there.
Question. Oh wait, that's
It's voice activated. It takes a second.
Voice activated. Question of the week.
There it is.
Okay, now this week's question pertains to the movie Neighbors, and my question for the panel is: what is the most memorable experience you had with a neighbor or roommate?
Memorable in good or bad terms, though.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Either or. We're going to start with Adriana.
Oh, there's
I'm sure
good
they
stories
wanna-
about roommates.
I'm sure they want to
I
hear the
don't
bad
think so.
stuff. Well, my story is probably the least interesting, I'm sure. But my first night ever going away to college, my roommate, she's a sweetheart. I still talk to her. I love her to pieces. The first night she was there, she was obliterated and went to some party, and I was just innocently unpacking, and she comes into my room and her makeup is like all over her face, her shirt's gone, and she slams our freaking huge cell door, because these doors are crazy, and I'm shaking. I'm like, what just happened? And then these people are banging at my door. I don't know what's going on, and she's like, don't let them in. Okay. just don't. And I'm like, I didn't know what to do or think or say. I just met her and I'm trying to be nice, and then eventually they're like, look, just let us in, okay? We're not gonna hurt you. I'm like, okay. And then it was her friends, and they got into some fight, and they're like,
quote the murderer.
yeah, and then
We're not
and then they're just like,
just let us in, please.
yeah, it's all right. And
I'm getting a
and this is-
flashback to strangers.
Right, I know. God, the things I get into. But no, and then they're just like, we're really sorry. She's just had too much drink. She's upset. And I'm like, it's okay. I'm like, I think you should get out, though. She doesn't want to see you guys. And then I just took care of her. First night I ever met her, and I'm taking care of her. And we've been friends since. That's my story.
So now my story is when I was in college for the 1 year of my life that I was in college. I had one of those neighbors who managed to ask me for every single thing under the sun. I don't know what he was doing with these things, but it'd be like, first it started off simple enough. Hey man, you got like a blue and red pen? I'm like, okay, blue and red pen, next few days. Hey man, you got a book on Voltaire? I'm like, okay, yeah, I got some here, man. You got a CD of Benny Goodman. Then he then it got progressively weirder. Hey man, you got the bottom of a Coke bottle and a clothespin and a shard of another shard of glass.
Sounds like MacGyver's cousin.
You did that or
I'm trying to make a
crack.
I need a snorkel, a toilet paper roll, and a toothpick.
It was just progressively weirder and weirder and weirder. And I was afraid I was going to walk into his room and there's going to be Manhattan experiment or meth lab, So I never did find out what the hell he was doing. So let's move on to Matt. Let's hear your story of the strangest, more interesting area.
I was like 19 or 20, and I had moved in with this crazy lesbian couple, which you never move in with lesbians. It's true, they have crazy drama. So anyway, I'm pretty proficient in the kitchen. I enjoy cooking. So one of them wanted to make the other a romantic meal. So I was like, all right, do you want me to cook it and then you just take the credit? She's like, no, I really want to try. So she's like, she really likes chicken cutlets. So I'm like, okay, this is cake. All she's got to do is egg it, bread it, put it in some oil, make sure it doesn't burn, and then you're good. So we ran out of breadcrumbs, and so I went to the store to go get her more breadcrumbs and left her to fry up what we already started. Well, I came back to the fire department because she started a grease fire. Now she was when I had left a pan on the stove with just maybe like a little bit of olive oil on the bottom, just so there wasn't too much and she wouldn't get splattered and then freak out. Right. She decided to take out the wok and fill it with olive oil.
What?
And then she took the 6 cutlets that we had already like pre-mixed or whatever, and put them all in, so the oil went over as it bubbled up. And then,
oh my God,
because she's so special, when the fire started, she thought water would help. Now oil and water don't mix, so it just made the fire spread.
Oh my God.
So, put it this way, we didn't live in that apartment for very long.
Oh my God.
But to this day, she still tries to cook chicken cutlets. So
what are you supposed to do?
I tell her to bake it now. What? You're supposed to put salt if that happens, not water. That's the last thing you do. And salt, I think it's salt or probably baking soda, something that'll like suck it all in. But yeah.
LovelyJojo, it is now your turn.
Well, I've had a plethora of wonderful roommates. One that stole my snake, one that destroyed the house in Tasmanian drunken fashion, more than a basis I'd like to remember. But one in particular, I lived with 2 sisters, and one of them started to internet date. And she started telling people to meet her at our house. And we were 3 women in a house, and I'm like, is she serious? Like, she doesn't know who these people are. There's a bar literally at the end of the block. Meet them there, So it got to the point where, we had this discussion, and she decided to still invite some stranger to the house. And I said, you're no friend of mine. You're putting me in harm's way, and I don't want to talk to you ever again. And it ultimately led to me moving out. It turns out that several months later, I found out that she had bumped into an old friend, hookup, whatever it was in the city. She, was so hospitable. She invited him back to the house. He ended up staying there for about a week or so. And she woke up with no money, no purse, no whatever paraphernalia she had, no cash, and her DVD collection all packed into her car, which was, again, gone.
Oh man!
I was like, oh, I wish I was a fly on the wall when that happened.
Did you describe her as a rather big person?
She was, she was a heavy-set girl, you know. Hey man,
Vulnerable little girl looking
no,
for
not vulnerable.
Oh, okay.
No, not at all.
I think she was very proactive from what I'm getting out of this story. I don't think she had a humble beginning. I think she was like, go for it.
No, she didn't have
Barriers.
Yeah.
borders. Yeah, no.
Okay, so now is the part of the show where we're going to go into our special Devil Wears Prada review. I have not seen Devil Wears Prada, but listening to these people talk about it, I am bequeathing my seat to Matt Martin, and Matt's going to take my seat, and he is going to
You chat
run.
away with Timmy Packer.
Yeah, he is going to
Because
run
we're
this
going
whole
to pack this
part of the
show up with Glenn Close.
Meryl Streep.
Thanks. My name is David Campfield, and this is Queergasm. No, but okay, so I'm obsessed with this movie, and I know you're obsessed with this movie.
I love it
Definitely
too.
upset.
Yeah, okay, so, okay, just because of my persuasion, I know plenty of males of your persuasion that actually enjoy the movie because of the
straight
hilarity
variety.
in it. And it's a great date movie to take your chick to.
Yeah.
It really is.
I love it. It's such a cozy film, even though Meryl Streep is like Satan, but it's so fun.
But it's so true.
It is absolutely
Like,
true.
I've been somebody who's been privileged enough to go to Fashion Week and see this stone cold woman sit there like this the whole time.
All she has to do is
And then
put her nose down.
one thing. And every homo goes into a panic. They're like, show's over. Don't even bother. She hates it. It's so true, though. Like, she
Yeah.
really is the puppeteer of the fashion industry, which is nuts.
What
to
is
me.
the story about?
The
Because I know nothing about it.
storyline is Anne Hathaway is a journalist just out of college, and she wants to write about like human interest pieces, right?
Right,
And,
yeah.
and politics and stuff like that. And she can't get a job, and her boyfriend is a chef that just makes really epic grilled cheeses. And they've been together for like eons, and they're just like so cute, whatever. And then she gets this job at Runway magazine, which is Vogue,
Yeah.
for the movie's sake, as a second assistant to Anna Wintour, played by Meryl Streep.
And then from there, now, Adriana, what did you like it? Is this a film you liked, you loved? What,
Oh,
how do you-
I absolutely love this film, and it's for one reason alone: Meryl Streep.
Streep.
Yeah, she just makes this film. She's
And the soundtrack
hilarious.
to the
'Cause
movie.
usually she's
like if
awful.
we're gonna go into like filmmaker mode, like you, like the soundtrack to this movie helped tell the story. And of course, it happened in New York, so New York is always a character in a movie like this.
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
every landmark in New York was featured.
Yeah.
Now, Lovely Jojo, why do you think it has a resonance? Last week, last time that you were on the show, Jojo, we mentioned Devil Wears Prada, and so then boom, boom, you guys are throwing lines back and
yeah.
forth at each other. So what is it about this film that you think has the resonance, where it just people park alive? You know, people just perk to life, you know, once the film is even brought up. What is it fundamentally, like, is it the characters? Do you relate to it? Do you relate to any of the characters?
Well, I mean, I would definitely relate to Anne Hathaway as having like no fashion sense when I was younger, and nobody told me any different, you know. But
And we've all had a horrible boss.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
definitely, it's definitely relatable, you know.
Yeah.
Just this humble girl coming from humble beginnings, trying to
Make her way. to the
yeah, you know,
Fulfill her dream.
pay her dues, you know, by doing this one thing that she doesn't want to do, which people would, you know, go out of their mind and do anything that they could to get this position.
That job especially. It's great.
But I mean,
It's so great.
you know, the Meryl Streep, she was like, you know, I keep hiring the girls that really want it. Maybe I should, you know, go a different route. And she decides to keep her, and her overachieverness, I don't know if that's not a word, but takes over, and she, you know, realizes that to overcome her disability in fashion, she has to, you know, really just embody it and go for it. And the clothes, you know, just
The clothes
amazing.
were alone.
There was one dress I wasn't crazy about. Her hair when she was in Paris, she was kind of like this with the black skirt. That was like probably like my least favorite thing. I think I liked the parka she had on better than that dress. But you know, the authenticity of the fashion show, the fact that they pretty much had it at Mercedes-Benz, you know,
Fashion Week.
what is it, Bryant Park, right?
Lincoln Center.
Lincoln Center.
Yeah.
They had cameos of designers actually there, Victoria's Secret models, and did they even Rachel Zoe? I don't even know, but you know, you turn around and there's like Heidi Klum, and you turn around and there's
Michael Kors was
Michael
in there.
Kors, and there was
Donatella Versace. Tom
Who are these people?
Coco Chanel. Who's Coco Chanel?
Coco Chanel's dead,
Sweet
but
Dave.
No, the designer that does.
Tom Ford, Dolce & Gabbana were in it.
A lot of people
A lot.
were in it.
Everybody
A lot
that
of
was
big
somebody in the
people.
anything that costs over $1,000 for a pair of underwear, they were in the movie. Okay, but real quick, because I have to just mention the cast of characters. I think is also what makes it very lit. Stanley Tucci did an amazing job in this movie.
He's one of those characters that you love to hate, and he just was very
But
lovable
the writing
in this.
like that's why
absolutely
people
was.
remember these lines, because the one-liners in this movie told the story.
By the way, Tucci seems to be, I just read a little review of Transformers 4. It looks like Tucci's coming back to that same type of role again. Tucci
A homo stylist?
Well, no, the guy you love to hate. You know,
Oh, it's like Transformers is now going down.
I know. I'm like,
that would be
They will try anything to make a box office.
Just
like,
like
I'd maybe go see it if that was the case.
just
Shiny
a quick
faces
quote.
and lots of explosions.
A great quote from the chat room is from PJG. It says, "Devil wears Gucci. It's all lies. Devil doesn't wear Prada. Devil wears Gucci."
Well, I know I'm going to hell in Prada, so.
Take me with you. Holy crap. Oh, that's so great.
So, chat room, do you want to see more of these people, Matt and JoJo and Adriana back more? Just let it be alone. Go to the Facebook page. There's a Facebook page. You got invite your friends to like it. The show is live and interactive. We love having you, and we want ideas for future shows, future guests, all of that. And I think we're heading up to the close of tonight's show. Next week, to be determined. Throw up some suggestions what you would like the next program to be. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you, everybody, on tonight's panel for a spectacular, spirited discussion, debate.
Always a
And
pleasure.
thank you, Matt Martin, for being a wonderful director, and Bonnie in control room for taking over, and inravio.com. And we will see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Music.
Inravio.